Hi kids, we are reading Flora and Ulysses from Kate D. Camillo, and we are on chapter 9. So last week we saw that the squirrel was caught in Ulysses the vacuum. That's what the vacuum's name was, and that Flora saw from her window and went and saved the squirrel. And then they realized she gave the squirrel CPR, he came back to life, and then he shook the vacuum to get out his nuts. That's what he was going for, and he was able to hold up the whole vacuum with one hand. So that's kind of amazing. So this is chapter 9, and this is Flora, and she's holding Ulysses the squirrel. She spoke to him, and he understood her. What the girl said was, "Ulysses, come here," and without thinking, he moved toward her. "It's okay," she said, and he believed her. It was astonishing. Everything was astonishing. The setting sun was illuminating each blade of grass, and it was reflecting off the girl's glasses, making a halo of light around the girl's head, setting the whole world on fire. The squirrel thought, when did things become so beautiful? And if it had always been this way all along, how did I never notice it before? "Listen to me," said the girl. "My name is Flora, and your name is Ulysses." Okay, thought the squirrel. She put a hand on him. She picked him up. She cradled him in her left arm. He felt nothing but happiness. Why had he always been so terrified of humans? He couldn't imagine. Actually, he could imagine. There had been a time when a boy with a BB gun, and there had truthfully been a lot of incidents with humans, some involving BB guns, some not, and all of them had been violent, terrifying, and soul-destroying. This was a new life, and he was a changed squirrel. He felt spectacular, strong, smart, capable, and also hungry. He was very, very hungry. Flora's mother was in the kitchen, and she was typing. She wrote on an old typewriter, and when she pounded the keys, the kitchen table shook, and the plates on the shelves rattled, and the silverware in the drawers cried out in a metallic kind of alarm. Flora had decided that this was part of the reason her parents had divorced. Not the noise of the writing, but the writing itself, specifically the writing of romance. Do you guys know what romance is? Romance is like a love story. Flora's father had said, "I think that your mother is so in love with her books about love that she doesn't love me anymore." And her mother had said, "Ha! Your father is so far off in left field that he wouldn't recognize love if it stood up in his soup and sang." Flora had a hard time imagining what love would be doing standing in a bowl of soup and singing, but these were the kind of idiotic words her parents spoke, and they said the words to each other, even though they were pretending that they were talking to Flora. It was all very annoying. "What are you doing?" her mother said to Flora. She was sucking on a lollipop. It made her words sound rocky and sharp-edged. Her mother used to smoke, and then she stopped. But she still had to have something in her mouth when she typed, so she consumed a lot of lollipops. This one was orange-flavored. Flora could smell it. "Oh, nothing," said Flora as she glanced at the squirrel in her arms. "Good," said her mother, and she whacked the typewriter without looking up, and she kept on typing. "Are you still there?" her mother said. She typed some more words. She hit the carriage turn again. Because it's a manual typewriter, you have to move it to the other side to start another sentence. "I'm on a deadline here. It's hard to concentrate with you standing over me, breathing like that." I can't stop breathing," said Flora. "Don't be ridiculous," her mom said. "Go upstairs and wash your hands. We're going to eat soon." "Okay," said Flora. She walked past her mother and into the living room, still carrying Ulysses in the crook of her arm. It didn't seem possible, but it was true. She had smuggled a squirrel into the house, and she had done it right under her mother's nose, or behind her back, or something. In the living room, at the base of the stairs, the little shepherdess lamp was waiting, a pink-cheeked smirk plastered on her face. Flora hated the shepherdess. Her mother had bought the lamp with her first royalty check from her first book, On Feathered Wings of Joy, which was the dumbest title for a book that Flora had ever heard in her life. So here's her mother, and she's got all her lollipops, you can see that, and then there's Flora sitting right behind her with a squirrel. If she would have just turned around, she would have saw that. Her mother had sent away to London for the lamp. When it arrived, she unpacked it and plugged it in, and then she clapped her hands and said, "Oh, she's so beautiful. Isn't she beautiful? I love her with all my heart." Flora's mother never called Flora beautiful. She never said that she loved her with all her heart. Luckily, Flora was was a cynic and didn't care whether her mother loved her or not. I think I will call her Mary Ann, said her mother. Mary Ann, said Flora. You're going to call the lamp that? Mary Ann the shepherdess to the lost, said her mother. Who's lost exactly, said Flora. But her mother hadn't bothered to answer the question. This, Flora said to the squirrel, is the little shepherdess. Her name is Mary Ann. Unfortunately, she lives here too. The squirrel considered Mary Ann. Flora narrowed her eyes and stared at the lamp. She knew that it was ridiculous, but sometimes she felt as if Mary Ann knew something that she didn't, that the little shepherdess was keeping some dark, terrible secret. You dumb lamp, said Flora. Mind your own business. Mind your sheep. Actually, there was just one sheep, a tiny little lamb curled up at Mary Ann's pink, slippered feet. Flora always wanted to say to the little shepherdess, if you're such a great shepherdess, where's the rest of your sheep? We can just ignore her, said Flora to Ulysses. She turned away from the smug and glowing Mary Ann and climbed the stairs to her room, holding Ulysses gently, carefully in her arms. He didn't glow, but he was surprisingly warm for someone so small. Oh, cute. Okay, so then next week we are on chapter 11. Okay, thanks guys. If you guys want to get a book, remember you can come to the library anytime. I'm there till 3:30, Monday through Thursday, and then on Fridays I'm there till 1:30. All right, see you soon. Bye.